The very first thing that I want to talk about is Zack Snyder, because Zack Snyder put it out there, everybody. He's saying he wants to direct another Bond movie. That's what he's saying. They were asking, would you continue a different franchise you've done before, or maybe do a new franchise since you've been doing Rebel Moon? And he said, well, I would touch on Bond. He goes, but I'd like to it'd be fun to see a younger James Bond. It'd be cool to be like a 20-year-old James Bond and humble the roots that he comes from to show all that. And then whatever happens beyond there, what kind of trauma he has of his youth will make you be able to find out who James Bond really has to be and how he becomes James Bond. Like a little origin story. But of course, producers of James Bond said that they were going to do that a while ago, but they've closed the door on that movie because they said they want to go with somebody that's more an adult theme. So they don't want to go younger James Bond. So could this actually happen? Could it not happen? That's the question. Maybe if a caliber director like Zack Snyder comes to you, Sean, right? And he has the eye, the visionary for any kind of movie franchise. You give him this job, wouldn't you, Sean? He'd be all about this. He should be directing James Bond, shouldn't he?
No, thank you. I do not need to see James Bond running slow motion, seducing slow motion, badly playing poker slow motion. I'm not into this. No, I don't care to see a young James Bond. I think the idea and the mythos of the character is the fact that you can just kind of dip in and out, and he's the same who he is, and that's okay. It's episodic in general. Like you have a little. Okay, thank you for Jaws for a second there. I love that. But no, I don't see what Zack Snyder would really bring to James Bond that like audiences are hurting for. I really liked Daniel Craig's take on the character. Obviously, I grew up with the Pierce Brosnan, GoldenEye sessions and all that shit. But no, I don't need Zack Snyder getting every franchise. But this is probably his invitation to do Rebel Bond, and it'll be a young spy that could be in the James Bond's, kind of universe, but obviously isn't. And, they'll call somebody vagina a lot, and we'll just all joke about it. That's a pussy galore joke. Anyway, I'm really firing all cylinders today. But no, I don't think Zack Snyder needs a Bond to really round out or fit into his style and his oeuvre. So fuck that. I'm not involved with that. I'm with you there, Queen. I had a really hard time force myself through Rebel Moon. Yeah. No thank you.
Yeah. It was a lot, but can you imagine the slow-mo sex you're going to get in that movie? Come on. No. Slow-mo sex. The slow turns. If
it was Idris Elba, though, we'd watch it. Give me an Idris Elba as a Bond. Who's the woman that played on X-Files? I forgot her name. Thank you, someone.
Gillian Anderson?
Gillian Anderson,
Agent Mulder.
Whatever. Make her Bond. I think she could do it. Maybe not, but that was like a fan casting a long time ago. But no, I would love to see something new done with Bond, but not new like Zack Snyder. That's not going to happen. And what the fuck is that flower growing out of his face? I don't know.
You imagine
these what the new Bonds are up for?
These are rumored people out there,
Harry
of course.
Styles.
Yeah, Harry Styles is out there. Idris Elba, of course, for a long time. Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Only Idris Elba for sure. That's all I want. Come on now.
Reggie, John Page is also, that's another person. There's been a lot of people they put out there, but maybe if you go super young, maybe it'll work out. But that's not the way to do. MGM doesn't want to do that. Of course, that's also owned by Amazon now. So they want someone with a space penis to be the next Bond. That's what they want.
If Timothy Chalamet becomes Bond, what is left for him to conquer, right?
New world,
what else?
man,
what else? He's been Wonka. He's been Atreides. Come on, what are we gonna do here? I just don't see Paul Atreides. Come on, what? Make him Bond? Fuck that. No.
He's the golden boy there. He's the golden boy. That's what it is. What's up, Nick? He's the golden boy.
I'm with you, Nick.
He was always a middle-aged man. Yeah, he was always a middle-aged man, starting strong in his prime, and then his stride. It was like him pushing forward. He was, he was the sex appeal. He was the guy. He was like what every man was supposed to be, I guess. But also kind of, probably problematic sometimes. But it doesn't really matter. He's fucking awesome. He was fucking awesome. Rachel, what do you think about this? Do you think that Zack Snyder should get his hands on this IP, grab it, and make a new franchise, new James Bond, or do you think that maybe people are sick of him having his slow-mo franchises move forward? People are sick of it. Or do you think that he would be the right fit for it?
I desperately want Zack Snyder to just get his hands off of all eye penises. Just Stop.
Let him go.
Please. Just retire, go off into the good night, make some music videos. I don't really care what you do, but just stop doing eye penises. You don't need to do it. We don't need a young Bond film at all. A Bond origin story might be kind of interesting, but I would see it more as maybe like an HBO miniseries or something rather than a film.
That could be cool. Like a miniseries might be kind of fun. I know they have Prime Video; they could put it out there too, or something like that, as opposed to spending.
They could talk about like his recruitment, his origin, stuff like that. But Zack Snyder's not the one to do it. Just fuck off, Zack Snyder. No one wants that. Go away.
I think he's just like, I think it's wishful thinking, honestly. I think the fact is, like, people, they ask him, he's like, I would love to do a Bond movie. I just want to do a Bond movie. That'd be fucking cool. Like, give me the reins of that shit. And like, he's probably asked MGM a million times. He's probably asked Jeff Bezos on their rocket excursions out into the universe. He probably asked him. I don't know. Mike, do you think that this is a possibility? You think that Zack Snyder's the man of the hour? He's going to have an owl penis flying into space, hallelujah, playing in the background with James Bond fucking every girl in the world? Or do you think that maybe, just maybe, he's not the man for the job?
You know, I was feeling pretty skeptical, and then you said something about an owl penis flying into space, and suddenly I'm incredibly on board. You know, Zack Snyder, it's kind of easy to envision, right? Because he's so visually stylistic, but it's always a very self-serious, like, I don't know, shiny, like darkish, bright colors, slow motion. Like, I can see how somebody might want to attach him like that, or why he'd want to attach himself. But I don't know. Bond is kind of essentially goofy, right? I know a lot of the talk that producers have done over the years, because they talk about making a younger James Bond and they say no. Like Nick was saying in the chat, you can't do it because Bond is like the perfect male fantasy character, right? He's what everybody wants to be. He's cool in every situation. He's calm. He DGAF, like, he's always got the perfect response. So it's kind of tough because if you put a 21-year-old in a role like that, he just comes across as a prick, right? Like, nobody wants to see that behavior.
Yeah.
Or alternatively, we get to discover trauma in Bond's youth, which is also it pops the bubble of the fantasy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I liked Rachel's thought of, if we're going to go that kind of route of exploring the character, which, I mean, it's not designed to be explored. It's designed just to be the coolest guy that ever existed. But if we were going to do that, a 6-part HBO miniseries where we get to see the trauma that he faced and how he resolved it and came out of it the coolest cucumber in the patch. Yeah, maybe that would be a way to do it.
I think Peppy can play Bond.
What if we take it a different way and it's like the last Bond, right? And you just consider like making like a Bond the end, like I loved that, that
Final
there's
mission.
an idea out there. There's a wrap up, a final thing, something just, he just kind of gives it his all and it's not good enough, or he gives it all.
He's got to die, right?
He's got to die.
Yeah, he does.
You have to die. But I honestly, I think one of the elements we're maybe missing in talking about this is I think Zack Snyder's kind of read the room on Rebel Moon and it's like, oh, this isn't going to get me more work. I should probably start advocating for myself again. And so this is what someone decided to write about for me. And good on him. The man's a very good promotionist of himself, a publicist, if you will. So I think it could be this, but yeah, I don't know. I really don't want to see
somebody said in the chat, like, can you imagine the toxicity of the crowd that would form around the Bond Snyder verse? Like, because that would be, I don't know if I want to see those universes collide. No hate on anybody, but I can easily see toxicity forming.
There might be a lot, but
the thing about James Bond as a character is that it's not one man. And I think that's the thing a lot of people miss, is that 007 is a position. James Bond is like a code name. It's not one dude. That's why you can have any actor step into it and just play him at any time, because it's supposed to be a linear story. It's just the position changing people. That's why you can have James Bond set in the 60s and in the 2000s. It's not one guy. So the story of the more I thought about like an origin story type thing, I guess that show would have to be more about how they decide who gets the title of James Bond or who gets the 007 monochrome. But like
That'd be somebody good.
Unnecessary. It's all around unnecessary.
Make it a Squid Games, right? Do Bond the challenge.
It's a competition show.
Everybody, they throw everybody in there and say, "Who's gonna be the next 007?"
We'll see what happens.
MI5 just grabs their top 10 people. Will be like, "All right, go."
No, that's such a good point, Rachel. I think that that is true. Like, we do forget that it is the moniker of 007, and yes, it has predominantly only played by white men, but there's no reason why it has to continue that way. David's point in the chat about did they make the last Bond? Technically, No Time to Die was the end of Daniel Craig's Bond.
Yeah, it was.
James Bond will return, even though they gave a very fitting.
Jesus Christ! Yo, player. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when we are live. And if you are able to join our Patreon, please join. Cause the Pep Star needs more snickety snacks. Cause I'm hungry. Holla back. Love y'all.